Ladies and gentlemen, Fantasy Joe back here with our running back league winners. Super excited for this. Hit that sub button. Have more league winners coming your way. Wide receivers, QBs, bold prediction video, a bunch of fantasy content to get you ready to dominate your fantasy football league. So smash that sub button, hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down in the comments section down below. Let me know if you guys agree. Let me know who your guys' league winners are. Let me know all that good stuff. Let's hop into it. First league winner, this should come as no surprise if you've been following with me this offseason, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think Edwards-Helaire is going to have a monster year this year. As a rookie, he only scored 5 touchdowns and only had 36 receptions. I think he's going to get a lot closer to that 60 reception number this season. I think he could have 240 carries on the ground, which could get into that 300 touch mark. The Chiefs also have the most improved offensive line in football. Clyde, as we said, was extremely inefficient when it came to touchdowns last year, averaging a touchdown, 1 in 44 touches. League average is 1 in 25. Even if he averages a touch, 1 in 30 touches, according to what I'm projecting him for, he should have double-digit touchdowns. And again, this is all in a Kansas City offense where, the offensive upside touchdown-wise could be absolutely immense. I really like Clyde Edwards-Helaire this season. The Kansas City Chiefs spent a first-round draft pick on him. I don't think that they are, ready to throw him out to the door. He was averaging 14.1 points per game before Le'Veon Bell got there, doing pretty darn good, and that was as a rookie without the touchdowns. I think he gets the touchdowns and the pass catching this season, which would make him an absolute force for fantasy. And you can give him the second round of all your drafts right now. That's why I love taking Clyde anywhere in the second round. Some of these guys, there are some league winners as well. First round draft picks, I didn't include any of them. Some guys their ADP was just too high for me to include them as a league winner because basically everyone's consensus is that they're a league winner if they're going high enough. So Clyde Edwards-Helaire just made the cut, but if you're asking about other guys, that's why they might have not made the cut. Okay, next up we've got Darrell Henderson. Now, Darrell Henderson, one of the things I want to point out, the Rams have the 8th best offensive line entering this season, according to Pro Football Focus. Last year, Darrell Henderson, when he had the job from week 2 to week 8, was the RB12 on the season. And that's the thing. I really do think he has the job this year. He's sitting out of all the preseason games. This is what McVay does with his starters. He expects Darrell Henderson to be able to handle the job this year. And really, there's no one else to do it. Yeah, there's Xavier Jones. They've got some backups. But I really expect Darrell Henderson to be the lead back on this team. I think his pass-catching numbers could be more than we expect as well. The Lions running backs had 81 receptions last year. This is because Matthew Stafford likes to throw the ball to the running back. I think Darrell Henderson has 40 reception upside, maybe even more. And, if he's getting 40 receptions, 250 carries, something like that in this Rams offense, that's 10th in the last 10th since McVay, or they are top 10 in the league in both red zone rushing attempts and rushing attempts in general. And if you can get the lead back for an offense like that looks to be explosive this year. The running back for the Rams has always been very successful for fantasy, and that was with Jared Goff. Now they've got Matthew Stafford. This offense could take leaps and bounds this season, and you could potentially have an locked and loaded RB1, maybe even better than that, even Darrell Henderson. And you can lock him up, RB25. You can be drafting him in some drafts. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I think I have him ranked as my 16th running back. I think he's well worth a 4th-round pick, 3rd-round pick. I love drafting Darrell Henderson. I'm drafting him everywhere I can. He's a good running back, too. He ranked 11th best running back last year, according to Pro Football Focus. I think he's got talent. I think he's got opportunity, and that's what you're looking for in fantasy football. Next up, Trey Sermon. So, Sermon's on this list. Two things I want to point out about Trey Sermon. So, his last year at Oklahoma, he averaged 7.1 yards per carry, and then his last year at Ohio State, he averaged 7.5 yards per carry. So, a very, very good runner. But the thing that they've been talking about Trey Sermon in 49ers camp recently, and a skill set that he showed off a little bit in college are his pass catching ability. The 49ers have talked about how they've been pleasantly surprised with how good of a pass catcher he is. I think this opens the door for him immensely. If he could just get any kind of passing down work early in the season, when Raheem Mostert's probably going to be the starter, I think he'll eventually usurp the job due to injury, probably to Mostert at some point. That's just, the running back position and Raheem Mostert's, history so far. And if he does that, I think he's going to be an absolute juggernaut in this Kyle Shanahan offense. I just think the upside is just crazy high when you could be drafting him in the 7th, 8th round of your drafts. And like I said, getting a guy who could just take over and be a top 10 running back and when you help win your league. Next up, okay, I've got 2 honorable mentions. So Antonio Gibson's an honorable mention. He was just going a little bit too high in drafts, and Etienne just because of his situation a little bit. I'll dive into both. So Gibson. Antonio Gibson last year finished as the RB12 and only had 36 receptions. He was actually a wide receiver in college, had more receptions and rushing attempts his last year in college. So he profiles extremely well to the pass-catching game. I expect him to take a major leap this year. You know, there have been rumors about him getting that Christian McCaffrey-type workload. I actually put out a video early in the offseason talking about how he could be the next Christian McCaffrey because, you know, I saw this coming. So if you're drafting him now, that's why he might be. That's why he's risen up to be past the league winner at this point. He's going so high in drafts. But I think, you know, Antonio Gibson, if you could get him in the second round, I love it. Etienne's going in the 5th round right now. Currently, I'm super excited about him. He's probably one of my favorite running backs talent-wise that come out of the draft in years. I think he's similar to a Dalvin Cook coming out of Florida State a few years ago, but I think he's even better. He had 102 receptions in college, which is one thing I wanted to point out. He's going to be using that pass-catching down work right away in the NFL. He could have 70 receptions this season, which if he does, he'll be fine for fantasy no matter what. The only thing I'm worried about is his rushing attempts. They've got James Robinson there, but Etienne was a first-round pick. I expect him to get the ball enough to be fantasy relevant for sure, and I've got no problem spending that 5th-round pick on him. I think his upside is immense. And he had 70 touchdowns in college, which is absolutely ridiculous. As I said, 102 receptions and averaged 7.2 yards per carry. The guy just took over the college game. Could have come out 2 years ago. Came out this year. Was still a first-round pick. That's why I think he's going to get a lot of that rushing down work. I know they have James Robinson, but did they really spend a first-round pick on a running back to not give him the ball? I don't believe so. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. This is Fantasy Joe. Thank you guys for watching.